Good afternoon, Abbotsford residents. I'm Mr. Pelican. I'm running for Commander-in-Chief, but before I get there, I'm hoping we have the law into Abbotsford, the true man in law enforcement, the RCMP. The organized crime ring of the Abbotsford Police is bigger than the fentanyl ring. It's a private police owned and controlled by the community. George Ferguson made it accountable under the city for everybody. Henry saw it as a weapon. All he needed to do was get the mayorship and then started loading for the trillions of dollars of land. When George Ferguson died, Henry Brown saw that there was no more people that could control him or know what he was up to for the investments. George Ferguson's legend lives through this Fraser Valley, and it echoes day to day on Abbotsford's residents, especially the Dutch and the farmers. When Henry's son, Darren Braun, the economic development officer under his dad to do all his dad's dirty work, showed that his dad was partner up with many partners, and that was for the real estate deals because his dad wasn't financially big enough. Diverse Ron Funk, Ed Fast with Pacific Peak Homes, his son, Devin Roy, and the list just went on. Henry Brown carried it a little further than just filling his pockets and rigging a few decisions. He carried it into organized criminal ring. He carried it into taking the Abbotsford Police and doing what Adolf Hitler did and turned them into the SS. He knew it would be impossible for anybody to prove it, call it out, and he could have the total insight and all the information. He knew that you would have to go to Ed Fast, and Ed Fast would tell him, and he could alert the top of Abbotsford Police and say, I need a favor, Mike Sir or Keelan Olenoff. Or you would have to go to Mike DeYoung. When I took that story and that evidence to the Mission RCMP, they never ever questioned Abbotsford residents, Abbotsford homeowners, that you're nuts, it's a conspiracy or nothing. They used a little bit of their knowledge, their computers, and their wisdom, and they chased. Why is Henry's son in front of him? Why is Henry stepping off and Ross got Henry's son in front of him? And then they traced Erwin Brown and everything. It's called legwork. When the RCMP knew Olenoff threatened and the Abbotsford Police at the top weren't finding that dirty officer, they knew that the loyalty laid with Henry Braun and the upper tops of the police department, and that was Henry's friend, Keelan Olenoff. They searched. That is why I stood on the world stage and said Olenoff was a liar, that Henry Brown had break-ins, and he was going to Henry's house. The RCMP searched, and so did a lot of other people in the Abbotsford Police, behind the top of Abbotsford Police officers' back, behind Mike Sir and Olenoff's back. And by the way, you would know it was in the mayor's. It would be in the newspaper. Abbotsford's residents were victimized unbelievable by the Abbotsford Police. When I saw Henry tie up the newspaper and tie up the people of the MLA and MP and Ed Fast and everything, I knew that it needed to go to the world stage. It needed the RCMP, and we need the courts to pass sentences unbelievable. But I knew we have to and we must destroy the Abbotsford APD. I did a video. I showed you the Abbotsford Police launch. They did a launch. They didn't wait. They did a launch, the big launch, the launch of the new bullet wrap. The launch was so big, it was so successful. I showed you that launch was to buy them out of the mess they're in. Henry used to go around, the Abbotsford Police are the greatest police force in the world, the only police force that can do my covers up, my scams and my threats and they're the greatest, I need them, oh, the Abbotsford Police, prop them up, Vicky Hopes, prop them up, Ken, prop them up, Rick Rakes, prop them up, Tyler Olson. This was the Abbotsford Police. They didn't need nobody. Now you know they're in trouble. And let me show you what to do. We're in trouble. Let's think, boys. We're old, we're senile, we're scared, we're stressed out. RCMP, you want to say you're working with us? You want to come in and we'll get the big heavy trucks off the road? We'll get the CBC police. Langley RCMP, come in here quick. Come in here quick. I need a bailout. Come in here. Abbotsford Police and other police forces are working strong across the Fraser Valley. When they launched that bullet wrap, I knew right now, oh wow, that's to pump them up with PR, get global TV, CTV and that. You don't launch it. You don't launch. These launches are going bad. You can't launch like that, buddy. You got to have precaution, and you got to know what you're doing before you launch. Launching's no good. You got to stop the launching. You needed all other law enforcement, and you need to look at the crime rate, and Surrey should have launched, not Abbotsford. Abbotsford was a launch for PR work. Oh, and then they ran to their videos. Did you see how many views I got for the launch? The launch was bad. Chief Watts wasn't even there, the experienced commander. I know so much about gangs, and I work with gangs, and I don't fit all the gangs in the launching. Should have spoke. He should have had other spokesmen. My gosh, the MLA, Bruce Bannerman, the MP, Suk Mangill, all these people should have been there for the launch. It wasn't. The APD went, grab it, run, launch, grab it, run, launch, we're in trouble, launch, launch, we gotta save the company, launch. They launched. Abbotsford, Canada, I want you to understand this, residents. The attack on families, the threats, was so bloody bad that there was only one way, and that was for me to stand on the world's social media and show it, because we need our residents, we need the general public, and we need the great people to get behind, because the Abbotsford police are going to try to bail themselves out. This shit of every day, and I showed you the beatdowns, the smackdowns. It was long overdue. It was coming. I just didn't think I was going to be the victim with Abbotsford seniors and homeowners and families and little kids. The beatdown at the Canucks GM place with these assholes, big bullies, beat them, now cheer them on. And Vicky Hopes, lay down on that article, don't do any follow-up, any criminal reports. Bouncers, security, and people can contain a situation, especially on a 95-pound guy. Big assholes, no public apology. And the mayor that said over the police, didn't say I'm appalled and ashamed. And I want the guys out of there that stood around. I mean, that was out of control. No, the launch had to take place again. And the launch was, here's what their statements are. We're getting the Safety Standards Act and the Police Complaints Commission in out of Victoria because we got a few friends and we're going to try to save it. General public, look at us go. Look at us. This Abbotsford Police is an elite ring of a monopoly and organized crime. The RCMP did not waste no time of mission of what took place on my life, the block in the election, the greed, Henry's son, and above all, Abbotsford's top police not doing investigations. And Abbotsford's top police, gosh sakes, they put so many condoms on Henry to protect him. It was too obvious. They knew it. They knew it was all for Henry Braun to protect him. Not to do a criminal report, not to ask witnesses. Look at us upstairs. Tell them, task force, tell them. Look at how smart we are. We're gonna save Daddy. Daddy was so great. You saved Daddy's ass. You pulled Daddy from jail and Daddy a scandal and Daddy to face criminal and go to jail. But Daddy dishonored you and wouldn't take a picture. Oh, we distanced ourselves from Daddy. Oh, we don't want to be caught by Daddy. There's 71 million in that. Abbotsford residents. I made it clear that I had great teachers and knowledge through the constructions, through Wall Financial, Mike Dakota of Ani, and many more. And it was so easy for me to walk in with Darren Brown opening the door and finding them. They were all stripped naked with their pants down. All of them. They looked like they were stoned when I walked in. I just couldn't believe it. So relaxed and giggling about the fraud and who they could screw over. And the Mackenzie Bog laughing and giggling at the people getting sick. The Cooper's Farm changing the schedule. The attack on Mogel, did we taught him a lesson? Did we teach him? Now get down there and smash him. Take them under investigated officers. Oh, look at, agent, I'm hiding, agent. Agent, I'm hiding, agent. And beat Daddy at South Asian. I stand on the world stage because the RCMP admission said, you can't let that one go, Mr. Pelican. You just can't let it go. I watched Henry Brown for months and months working with the Mission RCMP of how he was making these things. Councillor Lowens, Abbotsford First, the decisions and blocking the general public and using Vicky Hopes to scandal anybody that stood up and winning the decision and having his punk son Darren Braun, but having the MLA and the MP Ed Fast. You may think that it's a conspiracy. When Andrew Scheer was in town a few nights ago, you know who wasn't there? The shit kicker, the liar, the manipulator, the fraud, the guy that got the Conservatives in trouble. Ed Fast wasn't even there with Andrew Scheer. Andrew Scheer's words to me were pretty harsh about Ed Fast, and I don't want to make that statement on social media, but let me tell you, he didn't have a good word to say about Ed Fast. Not because of the Souk Mangil, but because of the attack on Abbotsford families and the lives and what he was doing with the M&Ms, the Mennonite mob. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm in the Abbotsford Flats. I want you to have a look out there. These are our Abbotsford farmers that got victimized in a flood on Henry's negligence. Councillor Mogel sat on the Abbotsford Dike Committee, and when the farmers reported something and the ditches were plugged, he did that. Henry needed him out of the way, so he dismantled the Dike Committee, slowly setting up the city to own it with him in the slate of Abbotsford First. It was Darren Brown that showed me when his dad came running. Did you see? I kicked the shit out of that council meeting now. There's no more board, and I took the money from Mogel. Councillor Mogel is a humbled, I mean, let me tell you, you have to meet him. He's like the Monoghy teacher of the Karate Kid. And when Henry attacked him with the Abbotsford Task Force, the white-collar crime trash, let me tell you, in that task force, there was no East Indians or South Asians that went and did it. It's a white-collar crime. Hey, Mike Scheer, you got it? Oh, Daddy, I got it. You'll never suspect these black and white cars that say police on it, Daddy. Look at it, Daddy. Look at me run, Daddy. Daddy, I got you covered, Daddy. Oh, Daddy, look at it, Daddy. I'll never get caught. They'll never come at me. I'm a task force. The gangs and the fentanyl, they need me on the streets tonight because of the fentanyl and the gangs. They need me, Daddy. The RCMP mission made no mistake, didn't hesitate to say, call it out, Mr. Pelican, upload the video, and let all the South Asians see, because we need, and Abbotsford needs, a change. This leads to violence, which they know. It leads to people going and hiring muscle. And today, ladies and gentlemen, the Abbotsford police chief and his spokesman and his collar beside us and his PR department with all the officers across Canada have to say we got a guy died in the line of duty, he died in the line of duty, line of duty, line of duty. I don't believe that happened anymore. In my opinion, what I've been through with Abbotsford homeowners, I believe they're targeted, and let me show you why. Let me show you why they're targeted. Because people got tired of them, that bloody uniforming. You can't touch me. Look at me, twinkle toes. You can't touch me. You know, I'm an Abbotsford drug force. I'm the task force. You can't come in unless we charge. Look at us, get the black cars. No, let's go out in the white pickup truck. Let's go out in the unmarked cars. Let's go out there. We're ashamed now. We're embarrassed. When the election came in Abbotsford to shit kick Ed Fast out, he did not know we went from the top down. He did not know that we knew that he was tied to Henry and he was cleaning for Henry. His neighbor coughed him up. Darren Brown coughed him up and his daughters coughed him up. But Ed's own wife went down and she said, Ed will never call Henry out for that. He'll go down with Henry. Oh, the Honorable Ed. Kicked from his party, not allowed to Andrew Scheer, and I believe the federal Conservatives had to distance themselves. So let me explain. There was many candidates running. The cheater Mike DeYoung, with the 5 great leaders. Remember the 5 great leaders? I don't know where they are. They vanished. They vanished. White Cloud said he saw him flying on Golden Eagle's back. They vanished. John Van Doggen is completely vanished. He took off. He left the Dutch and he fled. Ed Fast, Ed Fast gone. Oh, the Simon Gibson, Pierre Poilievre should apologize to Mike DeYoung. He needs in the federal Conservatives to clean this all in Abbotsford. He should apologize immediately. I demand it. A liberal demanding it. For Mike and Mike's buddy, George Perry, the screw-up, to get Abbotsford a complete screw-up that went to Mike DeYoung's illegal party at the height of the coronavirus, drugs and alcohol on Bell Road. And Henry told the Abbotsford police, don't scandal Mike because we're setting them up to run the MP. People were going to jail. It was the RCMP said, call it in and see if they fulfill that job as officers or they're going to clean. Henry, we got an incident. Mike's in trouble. Oh, don't go there. Don't scandal little Mikey. Please, yes, Daddy. Yes, Daddy. I got her covered, Daddy. Oh, Daddy. Oh, Daddy, we got it covered, Daddy. The RCMP said, film it. Film it. Film it and log it. That's evidence. When I came into town to interview Steve Schaefer, one of the candidates, and I was talking to them all, Suk Mangel, on Mike's cheating, Eric Nivel, the signs in Mill Lake, Mike with the Chamber of Commerce, Alex Mitchell, and the endorsements, and everything was doing. We were working hard to make sure Mike never sees another office or sits in another political office. I believe that's why Kevin Falcon shut down the BC Liberals. He had to get rid of Mike, so I believe he shut it down and he won't open the BC United so Mike can come back with his friends that he's still got contact and try to run it. The other night, at 9:48 in nighttime, the lawns are all burnt in this hot sun. Mike was out, the neighbor sent us a picture, pushing his lawnmower late at night. Every time he watches a movie of mine or a podcast, he runs out and he cuts his lawn. You don't cut your lawn at that late. That's stress, worries, guilt. Had the Abbotsford police got you covered, Mike, don't worry about investigations. I came into town to do a video with Steve Schaefer, a podcast. The Abbotsford police saw me in this Olympic coat that I wear in proudness of the 2010 Olympics. It's all my nations and countries come together. Every podcast that I do, I wear this Olympic coat, knowing what Abbotsford did and how Abbotsford's coming together over the great Abbotsford police. Have worked their ass off to come up against the Abbotsford police and show that they're going to be gone. And show the organized crime of elite atop Abbotsford fish. Oh, you can. Let make no mistake, Henry Brown stood on the stage here in Abbotsford with Ross Siemens and no other leaders. No Bruce Behrman, nobody. And no other power strugglers when he was no longer the mayor, to push Trudeau, give me a hug, oh, he gave me a hug, oh, he hugged me, and he promised me all the infrastructure money and the bailouts. See them gravel pits I had lined up with all my friends. Trudeau was tipped off at Terry Beach's office in Burnaby of what Henry was doing, and he stopped the money to our farmers, because he knew the city would have to get it, and then Henry came, and he knew what took place with Archway Community Services, Rob Santiago taking that money in the name of these innocent farmers, using that, and then stealing it, and going out and buying real estate, and Ross and them waiving his taxes when he made capital as a non-profit. And his wife on Community Tash, they stopped that money. But what was missing? Let me tell you what was missing. Henry Brown never went on stage and called David Eby out and told David Eby that you're a lowlife, you're weak, you're pathetic, you need to give me the money, and I need it. My farmers, the infrastructure, Eby, where are you, Eby? Get in here, Eby. I need you immediately. He couldn't do it. Because Darren Brown showed how he had used Pam, the Mission MLA and Ag Minister, to come to Riverside, change the zoning, and then get the bus moved over when that Mike and Ed lobbied it on Highway 11, but to give it a rezoning, a proposal, and allow Josh Gallardi or Ryan Construction to start the job. So he was in bed. That is why he did not call David Eby out. When you see you're not calling your friend out, Nivel's my friend, I hope still. But he done wrong and I had to call him out. He knew Mike was cheating. He knew these attacks were wrong. He said he wouldn't get behind no political person. I'm staying out of it. Then he went and endorsed Mike, the man that caused these problems, and looked away from it. The only reason you do that is you're asked to do it. Because when you avoid your emotions and opinions in front of many dignitaries and people and do the opposite, Nivel, look away and I'll make it worth your while. We need Mike and Nivel. We don't need anybody else. But the attack was animate. Nivel knew the first-hand experience when city staff brought me up after the election and Henry kicked Nivel to pieces upstairs. He bullied him and he manipulated him everything. That day forward, I knew Henry's strength to run over Dave Lowens, run over Ross Siemens and everybody. When I came into that town, ladies and gentlemen, I set up my podcast, my camera, and my equipment. The Abbotsford veteran police officer came out in his car. He shot across the lawn to the city library, and he came right out. And he was like this, "Come here, Mr. Pelican. You come here, Mr. Pelican. Come here." And then he made these accusations that I was in town all day disturbing the police or disturbing the peace. I said, no, it's disturbing the police. Disturbing the peace and causing problems with the community and everywhere. Gee, I can't even hurt a fly. I can't hurt a fly. And then the vulgar things that you think I'm bad when I tell you some F words slip out of my mouth because of my compassion in the shit that Henry did, knowing that every resident's entitled to the fair share of justice, but it was purposely blocked because moneybags had power and connections. Moneybags could take a lot of people down, so we won't charge him with the Abbotsford police. Oh, he's got a lot of people in the back room. I'll start talking. This will be worse than Epstein's Island if you charge me. Oh, Daddy jacked a lot of people, Daddy did. Daddy was smart. Big Braun was going to take her all over. He grabbed my camera. It was donated by Abbotsford residents, raised their money for me to run my mayorship and me to come in and help this community that's been brutalized and give it city back. Threw it across the cop car and smashed it. Then he grabbed the stand, and he threw the stand across the sidewalk and the cop car, making these accusations, this big fat slob. The company will protect me. The uniform, you can't come at me. Attacking the politician. Henry needs it done. Henry and Watts are at the company. We gotta save the company. We're almost out of business. Please save it. I said my lawyer wants all the names of the witnesses. Were they Henry? And I was calling the lawyer. He grabbed my phone, ladies and gentlemen. My son bought me for Father's Day. And he threw it across the sidewalk and busted it. Then he jumped in the car, the wailing slob, and fled at high speed. The staff sergeant 911 was called. She's documented up the ass because that's what you need to do. Into the Safety Standards Act. Guess what? The new chief that's got his head up Corky's ass couldn't phone and say, Mr. Pelican, I guarantee you your safety on your mayorship run. And I guarantee you your equipment will be replaced, your phone will be replaced, and there'll be a public apology. And this shitbox that embarrassed us all will be let go. I believe he jacked him. You tell on me and I'll tell what you did. You tell, oh, let's all of us ride 4 or 5 together because that way we're stronger in a group. The gangs. This, the RCMP told me, Mr. Pelican, throwing that as a weapon is assault. And they watch your podcast because we know it. And we know from their inside information that they watch it. And they should have They know where you live because they threaten you with the task force, charged the officer, replaced your equipment, and assured the public safety. You knew it was out of hand. Everybody knew it, from the beat down at the sports center, pricking up the prostitute, threatening little kids on the... They were goons. They found a way for protection, sympathy, and some political players that needed them for real estate. This was out of control, and it was the top doing it, and the bottom started telling on the top, and everybody started telling. Pam's telling. Now you got the former MLA, she's upset. You got Brenda Falk that got hosed. You got everybody telling. That's what you need, because that's how you get convictions in criminal things, and this is how you get justice. But that violence was under the APD. The threats on family was under the APD. Make no mistake that the RCMP mission had to help. I don't know how this retard, in my opinion, this retarded company, these degenerates, this shithole company, gangs of fentanyl of gangs of fentanyl. Oh, Mikey, where's Mike Scherer? Mike Scherer, you want to come back and take a picture? Bring Henry, take a picture of our building. Get Mikey here, bring Bobby. The city staff told me this, Mr. Pelican. You might be shocked to hear this. I said, oh, what's that? They said, the Abbotsford Police and the city are working on bringing David Eby in to promote the Abbotsford new police building to get over of what's on social media against them, to show that they're a good police force and we need to keep them. I said, what do you suspect it is? They would suspect, they said, that's the big players in the back, Henry and everything. That is why Henry probably didn't call David Eby out. And this was an upper ring that's in Tide, and you saw it with Devon Roy. That's right up there on that mountain with Pete Holmes to diverse, and the zoning and the changing and everything. It was larger than fentanyl, and it was all set up by Braun. He saw it as a golden opportunity, and he blocked everybody, and you saw that. I made it clear when he went and blocked the Mackenzie man, and then he brought Polygon up there and said the infrastructure couldn't take it. Our waters and sewers can't take it, and now we're going to build all this multi-dwelling, and we haven't done this infrastructure. Maybe Peter Speranese should be slapped up the head. I don't feel good anymore. Get Rob Isaac on the phone. Rob, I told you a long time ago, experience, knowledge. That's why I told Peter Speranese, the Mackenzie Bog people got deadly sick, and you haven't done nothing, none of you. And it will be very easy for me as mayor to help all them residents and make sure the jury sees what they went through, so there's criminal convictions, because you have a sworn oath of duty as commander-in-chief. And make sure that you got it, that Ross Siemens told you no. And that was taking place, especially when the jury sees you shut down farmers for having dump trucks on ag land, and you allowed this man on the Mackenzie Bog. And then you allowed the Halloween on Manny's farms, where everybody else did. This is what gets you caught. Well, Henry's got development everywhere. Henry had everything. This was a flood zone. This, you should never give up fighting for. You don't even see it in the newspaper anymore. You don't see an ad or nothing in the newspaper anymore. It died. Henry couldn't get the money out of the federal and provincial government for all the infrastructure and the gravel pits of my buddies. It died. They gave up. The 5 leaders fled. We don't care anymore. We're going to work on a new scam. And that new scam is now we lost the provincial. We got nobody, Bruce, and the MLA's got it there. And we lost the federal because the Souk Mangel, we couldn't get Mike in. We got to save the city. That's the only thing left, the city and the Abbotsford Police. The last gold pod is there. Darren showed me. Work hard. Go, boys. Get out of the street. Go. Vitalis got $25 million to a company that does not need help or need a bailout by the government. $25 million. Vitalis. Hear that? Vitalis. These farmers got nothing. That money should have went to these farmers. And I would expect that coward, the limping around old man, punished now. No more joy. The farmer said he don't see him, John Van Doggen, would argue that point. I would expect that the man that has Colin Watts up his backside every day, Corky Neufeld, would argue that. He don't know what to do. His ego's too big. He figures now I'm in, the people are all just forget it. He don't know he's going to get played. This is what residents want. They want your office. They want to know when they can come in that certain petty things, I agree. Oh, a bird pooped out of the sky and he hit my windshield. Don't go to the city. But open night threats, pastors of churches, dignitaries, people that are MLAs, Barty Sandhu and Rianne Gasper, they witnessed firsthand Abbotsford first whipper-whapper attack. You got to fight for that. You got to fight so man don't take revenge. The RCMP, Abbotsford residents and political politicians stood on me very hard. When that officer threw my phone, my camera and everything, you know what he was doing, ladies and gentlemen? You know what he was doing? Antagonizing you. He watched the videos and said, look at how angered Mr. Pelican is. It's compassion. It's my heart. I voice it very strong. These are victims. And these men are using that sympathy and gutting our city for hundreds of millions.